The Boston Strangler. That's a real violent nickname, especially since there was actually a serial killer really named the Boston Strangler. So I don't think that nickname would go over well nowadays, but 31 years ago, it went just fine. Andrew Toney, 26 years old. I used the 83-84 version, 20.4 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 0.9 steals. He shot 53% from the field and 84% from the free throw line. You gotta, in order to really understand and get a good idea of how, effective Andrew Toney was, you gotta hear people talk about him who played against him during that time. Like guys like Danny Ainge, who's now like the basketball operations guy or general manager, or whatever, for Boston Celtics. He had to guard him a lot. And he's one of the reasons they was calling him the Boston Strangler, because he couldn't stop Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney was a phenomenal scorer. Here, Charles Barkley talk about Andrew Toney, who got the chance to play with him when he was at the beginning of his career. Even Dr. J talk about Andrew Toney. They give him mad respect because he was a scoring machine. And he played on some really, really good teams. So he won the NBA championship with that 82-83 Lakers, 76ers team that had Moses Malone, Dr. J, Andrew Toney, Maurice Cheeks. They had a whip. And, Toney was a dude, he averaged 20 points a game in the 83-84 season. He was a guy who, if he had played on a less talented team, he could have probably scored 30 a game during that time. The Boston Strangler could put the ball in the hole, right? So I gave him an 82 because, you got to go by the statistics. He did shoot great from the field from a four guard, and also kind of looked like he would be a pretty good three-point shooter. He's very quick. First step is very quick. Good moves. Not a explosive run or jump athlete. And he was 6'3", 178. But also not known especially for his defense. That was kind of more of Maurice Cheeks' thing to pretty much D up guys. So the tripped out thing of it is that you would think Andrew Toney is, I was thinking, like, is he not on one of the old 76ers teams, the one that actually has, the Dr. J with the smaller afro? But it's crazy because I think he actually might have been one of the guys who they couldn't get the sign, couldn't get the license for, so he had to be left off. So that's, remember that was kind of the way with Weber with the Kings team. But he got 14 badges, 2 of them gold. The Deadeye and the Microwave were the ones that he didn't get. But just so so we're, you know what I'm talking about here, I'm going to scroll over here to that 76ers team, the 84-85 76ers. He was on this team. He averaged 17.8 points a game. Now, I've torn this team to shreds to make my roster, but if he was on the team already, he would still be here because I wouldn't have taken him off. He's not there, and he's not in the free agent pool either, just to show you. There's some freaky stuff going on with my roster, so don't even worry about it. You'll have a better understanding when I do my thing. But see, there's no Andrew Toney. So he's one of the guys they could not get, put on the roster. So, yeah, Lance Stevenson, wow, he started the season off as an 84. Look at that. Didn't work out, huh, Lance? Didn't work out. All right, so that's that. Let's go on to the next guy, people. We got Marques Johnson. Spent most of his career with the Milwaukee Bucks. Finished it out with Golden State, but he actually missed 2 seasons at the end of his career because of a neck injury. I used the 22-year-old Marques Johnson from Milwaukee, 78-79 season, averaged 25.6 a game, 7.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.2 blocks, and shot 55% from the field. 3-point shot was not going to be introduced until the next year. So he didn't really get a chance to really shoot the three, but he could really score. Just period. He could just really put the ball in the basket. Came from UCLA, 6'7", 218 pounds, played both the small forward and the shooting guard, but mostly the small forward. Known for his silky smooth kind of a game. So he's not like a great athlete, but he was very smooth. If you look up some of the highlights of him, and you see mostly some like in between game off the dribble, getting the medium range jump shot off, sliding to the basket, just basically a lot of scoring because he could really score. Those Bucks teams that he played for in the 80s were really good teams, kept running into like the 76ers and the Celtics. Couldn't quite get past them, but Marques Johnson was a really big part of those teams. So I felt it necessary to put him in the roster. So let's take a look. He got got 6 badges, 3 of them gold: fade ace, microwave, and volume shooter. Got an 80 overall. Not the explosive athlete, so some of that got kept down. But you see the shooting numbers are mostly good. I couldn't do much with the 3-point rating because even once they put it in, he never really had a big year shooting a 3. So I couldn't substantiate making that the case. So, but still a good overall little rotational player. He might not play much if you keep the rosters intact because he's kind of far down there as far as the Bucks are concerned. But if in a fantasy draft, you might be able to find you a nice spot for Marques Johnson. Believe it or not, originally he was the first guy named, first nickname guy I ever heard of whose nickname was MJ. So obviously he came a little bit before Michael Jordan, but even though he actually did play the same season Mike got there, but still, that's a little bit of a little factoid for you there. Let's move on to the last dude in this episode. Last but not least, we got New York Knick great Allan Houston. Actually played the first 3 seasons of his career with the Detroit Pistons, but he is known most for being a Knick. It was kind of hard to pick the best season for him, but I had to really kind of sort through things. Shooting percentages were big because his other numbers were pretty consistent. But in 1990-2000 season, he's 28 years old, played all 82 games, shot 48% from the field, which is the highest he shot in his career. He also made 44% of his threes, which was the highest percentage from 3. His free throw percentage was only 84%, which is low for him because his career, he was ridiculous, 86% for his career. But he had 3.3 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.2 blocks. He averaged 19.7 a game. Allan Houston, clearly one of the premier shooters of the mid-90s to the mid-2000s. He actually retired at only 33, so he probably had a little bit of go left in him. If you saw him play in the celebrity game for the All-Star game this past, a couple weeks ago, he looked like he could still play now. So there's that. But Allan Houston was just a great shooter, one of the best shooters, like I said, of his era. Could put it in the hole from distance for sure. Known for that form, too. So I tried to give him a nice form. I don't know. I kind of blended it up with some of the best shooters. I remember the form. It was, kind of a little bit difficult to get it exactly, right or whatever. But he could shoot it. So we had to make sure that I didn't want to make it something that was too crazy looking. Where it's like, what's kind of frustrating when you got a really great shooter and they got a form that's like so hard to figure out that you can't even get them to shoot right. So, I want it to be realistic and look as much like it as possible. But, so he wasn't a ridiculous athlete. So I really decided to take that side clutch slam off because I don't think that's something that I would have seen him do. I think, this is more in line with Allan Houston. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ratings. He got an 83. I hooked him up on the shooting number. He shot 44% from the 3 that year, 48% from the field. That means you can shoot. But the defense is not real high. 0.8 steals a game, never averaged over a steal a game. Never had more than 0.3 blocks per game. So I didn't do much with him there. He wasn't real great off the dribble. He was a catch and shoot guy, so I made that the case. But like I said, he can put it in the hole from distance. And if you're looking for a shooter, you're not going to find many better than him. As far as the badges, he got 8 of them, 3 of them gold, corner specialist, dead eye, and the limitless range. So there it is. So now it's time for the clue for next week. Next week. That's not next week. I'm sorry. Got to get it done quicker than that. This is going to be a pretty good episode. I can just tell y'all right now. This next one's going to be good. So my clue is This Milwaukee, Wisconsin native who actually has the same birthday as me. He split some time between three teams: the Timberwolves, the Knicks, and Golden State. He was an absolute workhorse. I'm trying to tell you, workhorse. In all of the seasons that he played, he never played less than 33 minutes a game. That's a lot of minutes. I didn't give you much, but how many people can guess who that is? So he's going to be in the next episode. I appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Peace.